So I know there's already a ton of reviews out there on the Victorinox Cadet, but I figured I'd do a video on why I think the Cadet is a great knife to have in your EDC rotation. Now on the table here is most of my collection of Cadets, and I actually carry a Cadet every day. Not all of these, but at least one of these, and they this one probably gets carried the most. And you can tell that's actually not showing a lot of wear, but it is a little beat up some parts. I think probably the blade the most. Some scratches on that blade. But yeah, the Victorinox Cadet with the ALOX handles is a multi-tool by Victorinox, and comes in a variety of handle colors over the years, and some of them are special to certain knife dealers, and some of them are special to Victorinox, as in these two, where you have this new limited edition, the 2015. I think they called this like steel blue or something handles, and then 2016 you had these violet purple handles. You can tell these are the special editions from Victorinox because they have the year stamped in the back, and they started in 2015. They're supposed to come out with one in every year. You have standard black, silver, and red, which are pretty much available everywhere. All the time, even on Amazon. So those are your standard ones. This blue one, I believe, is a special to DLT trading, and as well as Cutlery Shop, and Nut and Fancy also did his special edition with its engravings on the blade. But this is just a standard one, nothing special with the blade. The orange and green, I believe, are also special to Cutlery Shop and DLT Trading. But, so, there's a lot of different options for the Cadet, and that's why I have all these. The purple one, I really don't carry. It's mostly just kept in the box, mainly because I don't have purple knives to pair this with. But all these other ones I pair with different knives, because that's part of the beauty of the Cadet, is that there's so many different colors that you can pair your EDC system with a different color Cadet. And this one goes with me pretty much every day at my job. I'm going to explain why the Cadet is so useful and necessary to your EDC system. So the Cadet has aluminum scales, which makes it a lot thinner than most Victorinox knives with the not sure what they call it, but it's plastic handles. I think there's a terminology for it, but if you're familiar with most of those kind of Swiss Army knives, it's kind of a plastic handle, and it actually makes it pretty bulky. And one of the great things about the Cadet is how slim it is in profile. So that does not take up a lot of space in your pocket. And just so you know, Cadets do not come with this lanyard. I've made lanyards for the Cadets that I carry. Now the weight also is great on the Cadet. The weight is only 1.6 ounces. So for all that you're getting in a multi-tool, you're not sacrificing having a lot of weight there. So now, compared to like a Leatherman or anything, you don't have those plier features or the scissors or anything. But I think the Cadet gives you a lot of the utility that you would need. Now the main blade here, well, let's actually do a measurement. So 1.6 ounces would be how much it weighs, and then let's see, it's It's about 3 inches in length, so it's not a very long multi-tool as well. Of course, it's very slim. And then you have the main blade is, let's see, about 2 inches. About 2 inches of cutting edge. So you get a full flat ground blade. Not too familiar with the steel that Victorinox uses. If anyone knows what it's comparable to, chime in. But yeah, Victorinox blades here come very sharp, and these are slip joints, but there's no half stop, so it's just one solid motion there to open up the main blade. So you get a usable classic kind of spear point blade. So it's very functional, full flat ground. They come sharp. So that's your knife portion. So if you carry a larger knife, you can have this secondary blade. So that's useful. And Victorinox knives are not intimidating. A lot of people are used to seeing these kind of style knives. So pulling this out in public is not going to scare very many people compared to a lot of your modern day tactical like folders. So if you need to do a quick cutting task in public, the Cadet is good for that. So you have a good blade. Now what else do you have? Get to that actually last. So here's your other tool. You have a bottle opener. So I think this is called a wire bender here in the bottom. Never had to use that. But you can use this to open bottles when they're not twist offs. And that can come in handy, especially if you're out somewhere and someone gets a drink and it's not a twist off and they're looking for a bottle opener. And then of course you have that flat head, which be good for you can use that as a screwdriver or a scraper or prier. You don't want to do anything heavy duty prying tasks, but it can do some light duty stuff. So it's a useful tool. And that actually has a half stop. So that's the only tool that has a half stop on the Cadet. On the opposite side here, you have a can opener, which I've never used on the Cadet, but I'm sure it works well from what I've heard on other videos. And then you also have a smaller, let's see if I can get that to focus, smaller tip screwdriver flathead that you could use for smaller screws. And then finally, you have what they call the nail maintenance tool. So it has a file, and then you can also clean your nails, clean under your nails with that. Now, I've used it for that, but one interesting task that I've found that this is useful for is removing staples from paper if you don't have a staple remover. And I've actually done that a lot because when I've been at my job, they didn't have a staple remover where I was, and this actually came in handy because you can easily get into the staple there on the back side and pry up the staple to remove it. So it's actually really useful for that. Wasn't intended for that, but it works very well. And I'm sure that there's various other tasks that these tools were not specifically designed for that you could use, and that's why the Cadet is great. And so yeah, that's why I carry one. That's why that there's so many YouTube channels where they talk about why they enjoy carrying the Cadet, because it is a great tool. Now it's not your everything tool because it does not have every tool, but it has very simple tools that you will actually probably use every day. And because of the size, because of the weight, and because of the cost, these come in around $30. Now some of the special editions sometimes run a little bit higher, but because it's only around $30, you can easily have a collection of these. And especially with the ones that aren't the special editions, you have engraving plates on the back, and you could also engrave on the blade. So these could be a great gift, because you could engrave names, you know, special dates or anything. But yeah, that's the Cadet, and you know, it's simple. It mixes some of that traditional part. You know, we have the slip joint, you know, no locks or anything, but it also brings in some of that modern with the aluminum scales and that anodizing, different colors. And I think that's why the Cadet is so popular, because it mixes, you know, traditional with modern, and it gives you the tools you need, not too many tools, but the tools you'll actually probably use every day. So that's just my take on the Cadet. It's why I carry one every day, no matter what my main knife blade is, no matter what my flashlight is. I always have a Cadet as well, just because I find it's useful. It doesn't take up a lot of space, doesn't weigh a lot, and it's cool. I think it's a cool knife. And so yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Feel free to like this video and subscribe, and thanks for watching.